Gray Magic is a gray color booster or additive. In order for this to work, you have to have gray hair and you need to add it inside the formula. So this is not a hair color or something you could apply to your hair by itself. It has to go with a permanent hair color. Think of painting a wall that needs a primer. You have paint, B-E-H-R. I just painted a wall. Behr paint makes, I'm sure they all do. I'm sure they all make paint and primer. They have paint and primer all in one, where it's the paint and the primer mixed in together. So it saves you a step. You don't have to prime the wall first and then put the paint on, although I don't think it works as well as it says it does. This is kind of doing the same thing for your hair color, if that makes sense. You're adding in the primer to the paint. It's going to help the hair color stick on, last longer, and fade less. However, this is not for everyone. Just because you have gray hair does not mean you should use this. This is actually a really tricky product to use. You either really like it or you hate it. Let me show you what it looks like and then we'll explain more in depth how this works. You can grab it in these single-use packages for, I think it's 99 cents at Sally's, and the packaging has changed a bit. I believe this is an older packaging. If you can see in the beaker here, although this is not a hair color, it does have pigment. And when I say it's not a hair color, it does not have a developer. You don't mix this with anything to oxidize it to make it an actual hair color, but it is a pigment. You can see it's an orange color. This works by not only adding pigment to the hair, but it helps the cuticle open up. Hair color in general has to have the combination of the three primaries: red, yellow, and blue. It can be 3 parts blue, 2 parts red, 1 part yellow to make a neutral brown. It can be 3 parts yellow, 1 part blue, 1 part red. There's endless combinations. But in order to have a balanced hair color, it has to have the 3 primaries in whatever order. When you have gray hair like this, you're more than likely missing 2 pigments, yellow and red. So you're going to get blue or ash. You have a loss of pigment that is giving you that ashy gray color. How this product works is it's adding back in the yellow and the red pigment. When you mix yellow and red together, you get orange. So that's why you're seeing this orange pigment. It's a combination of red and yellow mixed together. You already have the blue base, now you're adding in the other 2 to make a complete whole hair color. So all the pigments are balanced, or not balanced, they're all present in order to make that hair color be an actual true color and help it stick. Because this is a very strong pigment, again, of red and yellow to create orange, you do not want to apply this to lighter shades of hair. I would suggest level 5 and below. If you apply this to lighter shades of hair that have gray in them, it's going to pick up those yellow and red pigments or orange, and it's going to turn the hair very, very golden and orange. I wish they made this more clear on the packaging. They have it very tiny on the bottom. It says note, not for blonde hair, and you have to actually open the packet in order to see that. Also not for toners. Yeah, you wouldn't want to put this in a toner. It would really mess it up. So they're recommending it's for medium brown or black hair, really dark brown, black hair. So not only is this adding in pigments to the hair to make the complete trifecta, it's opening up the cuticle. Pretend this is a hair strand. The outer layer of the hair, this is your cuticle. It's like a clear shellac nail polish. It protects the hair. So if you have damaged hair, you actually have a damaged cuticle. It's what's protecting the insides of the hair. So you have the cuticle, another layer, the inside guts, cortex. This is where chemical changes are making place when we're talking about permanent hair color, which if you have gray hair, you should be using permanent hair color with 20 volume. The medulla is the middle layer. Not everyone has one of these. It doesn't affect hair color in any way. If you have gray hair, it can be very wiry. It can be very coarse. It completely changes texture. For me, my hair is very fine, but the gray hairs are very coarse and thick and cat whisker like. A lot of times if you apply hair color on that gray hair, it's gonna slip off. Kind of similar to if you were to put anything, let's just say paint, on a non-stick pan, one of those really good, as seen on TV, non-stick pans.
Hi, Kathy Mitchell here with my new red copper cookware. Slides right out. Even caramelized sugar without it sticking. Pour over nuts for an easy breezy peanut brittle.
It'll just slide around. Putting hair color on gray hair is similar to that. It will just slip and slope right off. You have to create something within your hair color formula for it to grab onto. Because the cuticle is so tight, it's not allowing hair color to penetrate through. So in return, it just slides off. Sometimes it's very quick after a couple shampoos. Sometimes the hair color will last 1 1 or 2 weeks, but it will just literally slide off. So we need to open the cuticle. If you look at a cuticle under a microscope, it looks like fish scales, overlapping fish scales, or shingles on a roof. You need something to open that up to allow the hair color to go through and do the chemical changes. The Gray Magic is going to help open the cuticle and add the pigments, and also using 20 volume anytime you have gray is going to help open this up so our hair color molecules can whoop right in here and do their chemical changes. So the Gray Magic is doing two things. It's adding in the missing pigments and it's helping open the cuticle. But again, this is only for super dark or medium to dark black hair. All you do to use this is just add it to your actual hair color formula. Your hair color mixed up in the bowl. It says to use the entire packet. If you're using the single packet, I would strongly suggest to start with half. And if you have the bottle, they have the bigger bottles. It'll be a little bit cheaper to buy it that way. I believe the bottle says to use 15 drops. I would suggest just starting off with 7 and seeing how that works. But it really does depend on your formula. If you're mixing the hair color yourself, like from Sally's, you want to make sure in your formula, if you have gray hair, that you are using some sort of in or in. Let's say you wanted to color your hair this level 4. You need to use 4 in. You could do 4 in plus, if you wanted a red tone or red tint, you could do 4 RR, double red, an ounce of this, with 2 ounces of 20 volume developer. These colors for gray hair, you have to use permanent hair color. Semi, demi, temporary, it's just gonna slide off. Demi-permanent color is going to do gray blending. So just make sure you're using permanent hair color, adding in this in or in natural neutral base to whatever hair color you want. If you use this as a standalone, just the in, sometimes it's going to pick up a murky-ish color. It almost needs some sort of tonality to it. You could use this formula plus your GM Gray Magic 20 volume. A lot of times gray will be very resistant in the hairline. When you apply your hair color formula, you could add some foil, just some baking foil, what is it, Reynolds wrap, or hair foil if you want. Line it with foil to help trap it in. The heat from your scalp will help open up the cuticle. The cuticle again is so tight. It's like this. You need to loosen it up. Heat is gonna help loosen it up, allow the hair color to come through. So if you have one of those hood dryers, a blow dryer, lightly run it through. You have to be careful because you're using permanent hair color, and let's say you're using black 1 and you apply heat, it's going to start running down your face and it's really hard to remove that color. And also what will help is doing your roots first. They're the most resistant, and letting your hair color process for the full time. It depends on what color line you're using, but 30 to 45 minutes. If it says up to 45 minutes, then you're going to do 45 minutes. If you under process hair, that's where you get that translucent color where the gray is peeping through. But again, this is mixed into your formula. You do not just apply this directly to your hair. That's the rundown on Gray Magic. If you have any questions, comments, likes, dislikes, make sure to leave them below. Make sure to subscribe if you don't want to miss anything. I'm here every Friday at 1 p.m. Eastern time, and on the other side of the internet, I'm doing beauty product reviews right now every Sunday at 1 p.m. Eastern time. I'll put that in the description box.